Hi guys, Jeff Etherington, the Profitability Coach, and today I want to tell you why I stopped drinking. For those of you who've known me for a while, you'll know that I really enjoy my whiskey and my gin, and I'm certainly partial to more than a couple of bottles of red wine at the right time. But January the 8th, 2019, I sat down with my much better half, Lynn, and I said, I'm really not enjoying drinking anymore. And that was the case. I've called it, I've lost the taste for it. I stopped enjoying that glass of wine at night. I stopped enjoying that whiskey after a good meal. I stopped enjoying that gin on a lazy Sunday afternoon. I didn't feel the need I had to drink or anything. Wasn't displaying any of the signs of being an alcoholic, but I just lost the taste for it. Now, a bit of context here. My parents were not great drinkers. I mean, in fact, the only time I really saw Dad drink, apart from occasionally Christmas or birthdays, was after he'd mowed the lawn and he'd have a long neck of beer and often make Mum a shandy by putting some lemonade in it, but that was about it. And I've drunk, like most young blokes, as heavily or as lightly as circumstances have demanded, but I really, in my adult life, have really enjoyed a good red wine, good scotch, and good gins. And I was drinking for the flavour as much as anything else. Certainly a little buzz never hurts after a hard day. And in fact, that was one of the issues, one of the hardest things to deal with for both Lynn and I, was that we had this thing in our lives, because it's not the first marriage for either one of us, although we're 17 years into this one, which is great, was that the first hour we'd both get home, whoever was home first would pour a glass of red wine, and we'd go and sit out here on the back porch, and we'd talk about each other's day. We'd talk about the good, the bad and the ugly. We'd get it all out. Then we'd go inside, we'd cook dinner, and we'd have the evening together. And that was our ritual. And obviously with dinner, we'd have some more wine, or maybe finish the evening with a scotch, sitting out here on a outdoor setting, staring up at the moon and the stars and all that sort of stuff. Really nice. But it just happened that I was starting to, as I said, lose the taste. I wasn't enjoying scotches. Scotches that had been my favourites for years, tasted okay. Bombay gin, one of my favourites, I just wasn't enjoying, and so on and so forth. So each year I used to do Dry July and raise money for the local cancer ward here at Gosford Hospital. So I was already having at least 1 month a year off, and quite often I would do February Dry as well. So what I said to Lynn, and what we decided was on January the 8th, 2019, was that we would stop drinking, and we'd go through February Dry, get to the other end, and then we'd go back to our normal routine. Well, I got to the end of February and I didn't feel like drinking. I just didn't have the taste for it again, as I said. Neither did Lynn. So we decided we'd just keep going as long as we can. Now, I haven't had a drop of alcohol since that day. Lynn's had the odd glass here and there. Her 60th birthday, she had it, and why not? So she should. She celebrated some wins in her business with her staff and had a glass of bubbly, and that's fine. But it's always just been one glass or a couple of sips. For me, I just decided nothing. And the way I did that, because the hard thing for both of us, but particularly for me, was that evening thing. Come home, pour a glass, sit down, talk about each other's day, get rid of any crap, and then get on with our evenings together. That's the time I felt the need to drink, and I recognised that as a bad sign. So it came down to how you define yourself. I was changing what had been a decades-long habit, and I was changing it overnight, because I decided one day I drank and the next day I stopped. And I realised this is one of the most effective ways that you can change your habits, and that's this. That is, define yourself either by the lack of an old habit or a new habit. So I used to say this to myself: I no longer have the need, the urge, the want or desire to imbibe alcohol in any form whatsoever. So when the urge got hard, I just run that little thing in my head. I no longer have the need, the urge, the want or desire to imbibe alcohol in any form whatsoever. And I'd follow that up with, I am the type of man who doesn't drink alcohol. That's it. I'd used a desired habit change to define me in my own mind and my own perception. So I'm the type of man who doesn't drink alcohol. Simple as that. So whenever I have the urge, and I have to say over the last 2 and a bit years, the urge to drink alcohol has died off even more so. Just occasionally it comes up. I just have to look at it and go, I'm not the type of bloke who drinks alcohol, and I don't. and the urge goes away. So maybe you can take this and use this in your own life when you're trying to change a habit, is define the habit you want to change, but more importantly, define you as the person who either lives the new habit or no longer does the old habit. For me, I'm the type of man who doesn't drink alcohol. Simple. That's how it works. So, are you the type of woman who doesn't X? Are you the type of man who doesn't Y? Are you the type of person who chooses to not? It's up to you to find the wording that works for you. But this is a powerful, powerful little tip, is if you're changing a habit, particularly one that's going to have great health benefits, and some other time I'll talk about how stopping drinking alcohol gave me enormous health benefits. But if you define yourself by the new you, by the person without that habit, it sticks, and it sticks a lot easier. Won't you choose something to change and think about how you want to define yourself in light of that change you want to have? I'm Jeff Etherington, the Profitability Coach. And as always, 3 things. Be well, take care, stay safe. I'll talk to you again soon.